Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. Today I'm looking at a book which has come to us from Rupert Jackson. It's now called the Jackson ADR Handbook. It's now in a second edition and it's been written and edited by Susan Blake, Julie Browne and Stuart Sime. Many of you will know these editors from bar courses and so forth. OUP are to be congratulated for producing this work in association with the Judicial College, the Civil Justice Council and the Civil Mediation Council. There's a companion website which is available to provide additional resources and updates as well, which is oup.co.uk/companion/ADR2E, in other words, second edition. Now, Elizabeth and I talked about this book, and I was delighted when I saw that it was on the market again, because dispute resolution is an important part of what we do today. It's never going to replace the system that we have for a lot of reasons. One is that there are some parties that will never agree about anything. But dispute resolution is a very good mechanism where it can be deployed, because frankly pride is the biggest single sin that these people will show. They will never back down. And if we can just get a bit of resolution, get the dispute resolved by other means, that really does, and especially if they've realised the error of their ways rather than having it imposed on us as judges, it does make a difference. Anyway, apart from that point, this is an excellent book. Now, Elizabeth and I gave the title for our book review an important update on the extension of dispute resolution, appearing from OUP and the Judicial College at a turning point for adjudication and non-adjudication methods in the 21st century. And that's exactly what we've got here. Let's look at the book. This is the new edition, the second edition. Paperback. There we go. There's the front. There's the spine. Now on the back there's quite a lot of stuff. I'll just hold it back a bit. You can see that probably can't make too much out, but there's the bit at the back. I'll just move it up for you. You can see that. It obviously has a lot of people who are involved as an editorial board. Too many people for me to mention. Now, the index is by paragraph numbering, so a bit of the house style of OUP coming to its own here. It's quite a detailed index, and I thought it was very helpful. You can see even from the last page, there's the paragraph numbering, and then there's the footnoting at the bottom. Now, in addition to that, if we go to the front, there's the actual front page. And after that you've got a lot of people. I haven't been able to mention all the people involved, but they're all there. Many names you will know of. These are people who are the main players currently in legal matters. Now, Lord Dyson has written the foreword to the first edition, which is there. And then we've got the second edition by Tim Wallace and Vivian Ramsey. I have in fact referred to a little bit of what's been said in the preface to the second edition, just to explain why we've got a new second edition. Now, this is the actual structure. It starts with general principles and chapters. You can see how it runs through. It's again, there's a lot of information there. Get to negotiation, and then as you see it runs all the way through. A lot of pages. I just want to show these because you need to see the various alternative methods that are used. Again, lot more information there. And then right at the end, chapter 26, construction industry. So again, it covers everything that they can think of. Then you've got the table of cases, quite a large number of them. And then a few statutes, of course. And a nice glossary and abbreviations. Always a good idea in the 21st century because we are abbreviating a lot. It's a complex world we live in. And these glossary and the abbreviations I think are very helpful. Then we get in, here we go, part 1, general principles. Then we launch into a general principles of ADR. A, the importance of ADR, 1.01, and then it goes all the way down, stressing the importance in a civil dispute. Role of the courts, use of ADR and so forth. Again, you get the footnoting coming up. So it runs to, as I say, about 300 odd pages. It's a first-class book. These are special books, these ones from OUP. The Judicial College does the one on general damages, which I've used quite a lot in court. You will see these books available because they are common sense guides, but they're also something else. They are coming from the people right at the top, normally, of the profession. And frankly, if you can't follow what they're saying and take their advice, there really are going to be some problems with what your dispute is all about. Because at the end of the day, this is common sense, and it's really about trying to get people to see a bit of common sense. I know that sounds rather difficult sometimes because they want their day in court and everything else, but this book, I think, does try to set the record straight. So what do we say about it? We say this: the first class and fundamental practitioner publication from OUP and the Jackson ADR Handbook, now the second edition, was originally produced following recommendations made by Lord Justice Jackson that an authoritative handbook for ADR, that's alternative dispute resolution, should be prepared. It was envisaged that the handbook would be used by all involved in this expanding and important area of adjudication and non-adjudicated methods used to end a legal fight. And you can see the sense of it politically because of the costs involved. It's also practical. The book's been very popular and necessary, therefore we now have to have the second edition in 2016. I'm recording this in 2017 as we now prepare for Brexit and all sorts of wonderful things that are going to happen this year. It's 3 years then since the first edition appeared in 2013. It's the second edition 2016. So we're moving on. Dispute resolution is still a very important factor, but there are going to be changes again with online courts. So we can see that the very face of the way we do our business to maintain the rule of law is going to change with the fourth industrial revolution. So let's get to the point of what this book is. The handbook's aim is to lay a strong foundation as an essential guide to ADR. Well, they certainly do that. And it's received judicial endorsement in the Court of Appeal, what a surprise, and the Technology and Construction Court. Delighted to, because I do a lot of work there, and frankly, one of the problems with that particular court, with great respect, I find it extremely difficult to advise my client as to what's going to happen, because I just don't know in many of those disputes as to which way it will go, which is one of the reasons why if they can get some form of alternative resolution to their arguments, all the better for them. Now, the current authors are Susan Blake, Julie Browne and Stuart Sime. So some of you will know them. And they're all involved in the publication, can be proud of what they have achieved for us as the end users of the system. And I thank them because I think they've done a very good job with this particular new edition. Now, with the benefit of a few years' hindsight on the implementation of what we call the Jackson reforms now, which are rightly seen as wholly constructive procedural necessities, albeit in getting more and more complex. I know I'm sounding a bit grouchy there, but it is getting more complicated, and eventually we have to look at how far it can actually go. This new edition here, however, builds on the success of the first edition to provide an updated guide to all aspects of ADR, which we're finding is more usefully described now just as dispute resolution. I know that that's a preferred description by quite a few more senior judges, if I can put it that way. The Judicial College, I think, have done very well. They've ensured that throughout there is a strong focus on practical guidance for the users of the system. And it's welcome to see the second edition maintains the concise and user-friendly format of the first. The title also includes an in-depth overview of the different options and principles of ADR, as well as sections covering the following. This is the content of it: the interplay between ADR, the CPR and the litigation process, negotiation, mediation, recording and enforcing settlements, and other ADR options, as well as giving a summary of the international perspective. And the next edition, we reckon, will probably be around in 1919 to 20 to cover digitisation. We found the additional materials such as mediation provide us specimen documents, precedents and practice tips, which are available as a companion website of the greatest assistance in what will continue to be a developing area of decision making in the next few years as legal budgets remain tight as ever for contentious litigation. I think the book is very important for all reading for the bar, certainly, and solicitors. And one of the things I would say is I'm still, with many people, not 100% happy with some parts of the mediation process as a whole, because ADR, which is much wider than that, we are looking at the actual dispute being resolved. That's the concept behind it, but mediation is not necessarily the answer, because sometimes it must depend on the actual issues which you are being confronted with. Let me just conclude by getting to the foreword, the actual preface rather, at the beginning, where Sir Vivian Ramsay and Tim Wallace make most useful observations, saying that the timing of ADR is always an important factor, particularly where avoidance of expense and time is a major consideration. So timing, always the friend of the defence of course, forms a major section in the handbook, together with the choice of an ADR option, a matter most advocates would strongly endorse for practical reasons, if nothing else. And I certainly try to. There's just no way. You just have to see how you go. But sometimes the cockiest of the clients, when you get them to the court, they suddenly begin to realise the seriousness of it. Others, of course, very difficult to read them. But that's the way the client goes. Simple as that. There's this suggestion, of course, with this handbook, it would be produced annually, although that was not considered justified, I think probably rightly. So we think now appear on a regular 3-year cycle, which will not take away, of course, the familiarity of a trusted and well-thumbed reference book, which is what this is. And, of course, it doesn't. Now, there's great effort, I think, to a great legal team here, backed up by the splendid OUP, who've taken this mantle on. So thank you very much to all concerned. As I say, the publication date is 2016, and I'm recording this early 2017. There it is again, paperback, spine, and then there's the back page. It's a great book, and I've said before, I'll say it again, these books are very important for us as practitioners, and I think in the early years of your practice you certainly should have this available regularly. I'm just looking, the costs of mediation, here we go. I get quite a lot of complaints, people griping about, oh, it's going to cost me this to do that. Well, it's not that costly at the end of the day. You see how the book's structured. You've got the paragraph numbering. It's dealing with this contentious area. You've got footnoting to justify assertions made. It says the costs of mediation. General aspects of costs of ADR dealt with in Chapter 7. And it looks actually at how mediation does work and what the mediator's role is, for instance. Now, I mentioned that earlier because there is criticism about mediation. And I understand those criticisms because at the end of the day, I frankly think that if you have the expertise as counsel to negotiate when you're physically at court or on the door of the court and you're trying to sort matters out the hour before the hearing takes place, you should be physically, mentally able to deal with all aspects of what the client's problems are and try and come up with a robust set of proposals if you can, but sometimes it's just not possible. The thing is that this book is here to help us, and that's exactly what it does. Thank you to everybody concerned. We can't do our work without having these books. I say that with many of these reviews. The reason I do the reviews is so you know about the book, you know what's available, and in this day and age it may not be quite as easy to get to a library as it was in the past. Anyway, thank you to all concerned, and good luck for the future with all your ADR work. Bye-bye.